The Fujicast is an independent Loading Zone production.
Well, I know not everybody follows football or soccer, round ball stuff on this podcast. I thought you might like to know, Kev. I did go to the last Emirates match of the season. It was a gift not from Arsenal Football Club. It was a gift from Jack for, I don't know, just the past year or whatever he wants to. So, yeah, he said, I'll take you to football, Dad. He got 2 tickets. We did sit in different parts of the stadium, which surprised Sam. She said, what? You're going to football, but you're not sitting together. That is just, if you want tickets to some games, that's how it is. And despite that, it was fantastic. We made friends with the people we were sitting next to, lost our voices, had a great time. And, of course, Arsenal won 1-0. Look at that, Kev.
We did.
The guy next to me, Kev, I think he probably reminded me of me because he was his hands were in his head was in his hands for most of the first half. But it was on the way home, Kev, on the train. I think you'd have been proud of me for my one-liner. You have to understand, by the way, that Declan Rice is a player that plays for Arsenal and he was bought from West Ham, just to fill in a little bit of context here. And I think the West Ham fans, Kev, it would be fair to say are still a little bit salty about it.
I would have thought so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, on the way back out, we got on the train and I was passing through the carriage and it was full of football fans from 3 teams. Arsenal, West Ham, who had lost, and Newcastle, who had lost. I was the only Arsenal fan with Jack. We had our shirts on as we walked through the carriage. We were the only ones for a moment from Arsenal. And this little West Ham voice came shouting after me, "Oi, mate, you come second again," was what he said. And they started chanting the second again, that one, that chant. And I turned round, I said, yep, I know, I'll give you that one. Anyway, I'm just off to the buffet car. I'm going to get myself a nice dish. I wonder what goes well with rice.
The Fujicast.
And he looked boom boom. I thought you looked very, very glum. And the chant stopped. I was quite proud of that, Kev.
Yeah, that's very clever.
Yeah, I could tell you're really enamoured with it.
No, it was good. Good for you. Good for Sam.
Anyway, here we are. Another day closer to you going on hollybobs for, what is it this time? 14 weeks, Kev?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. It's like the old days, Kev.
Yeah. COVID put a spanner in the works, didn't it? But yeah.
Well, I know it did, but in the old days, you used to do 6, 7, 8 week holidays, didn't you? Now you're sort of drifting back to them.
Yeah, I can't wait. Get out of this country. Nice.
Oh, you're a miserable old sausage sometimes, Kev. It's all right. The sun is shining, Kev. You live in Malmesbury, one of the most beautiful villages in the world.
I can't see the sun. I've got all my blinds closed.
Oh dear, Barney, we need to send Kev something to cheer him up. What would cheer you up, Kev? What would cheer you up?
Going on holiday for 36 weeks instead of 6. Of course, can't do that because of friggin' stupid Brexit, but there you go.
Oh, nail your colours to the mast there, Kev. You should be quite pleased. We look like we might be weighing anchors and drifting that little bit more easterly towards them, Kev.
Oh, wonderful. If you've got a dog and you want to take it to Europe, brilliant. Fun.
Oh, anyway, welcome to the Fujicast for the next 40 minutes of unmitigated doom and gloom. And your questions, of course, that you've sent in about photography. It doesn't have to be Fuji, but of course, us being Fujicast, it's slightly more Fuji flavoured. We had a great call the other day, didn't we? We met up with Pictime.
We did.
Yeah, Aga from Pictime gave us it was a reasonably detailed presentation. I thought she was going to do about 20 minutes. It was an hour's presentation on the ins and outs and how it works, which was fab.
Yeah, no, it was excellent actually. It was quite insightful for me, and I thought I knew everything about it, but I didn't.
What bits did you not know about then? What were the bits that?
Well, there was some new, for example, things like the gallery transfers. I knew you could do gallery transfers, but I didn't know there was an automation to send an email to the new, to the old people who are now on the new system and say, hey, you can use it 5 and here's a discount and all that. I thought that was quite good. I wish I'd done that when I did all my 470 odd transfers, whenever it was. I don't think.
Although I don't think it was around then, was it?
Exactly.
No.
Yeah, it was very useful.
That would have helped.
Very useful indeed.
And so thank you to Pictime. Pic-time.com is where we keep our galleries, and we show the clients the work that we've made at weddings and portraits. And actually, one of the things that I thought was worth spending a reasonable amount of time on, which we did, was the fact that, because I know some people will think, oh, well, Pictime, I love it, sounds fantastic, and obviously Kev and Neale eulogise about it, love it, but is it for me? I'm not a wedding photographer or a portrait photographer. And we spent a bit of time talking about the way you can use it to show art instead of the obvious social stuff. You can show your art prints, can't you?
Yeah, the art gallery stuff. Though I think the website she was using was Ryan Muirhead's, and he's a photographic artist, and yeah, he has it set up really neatly. So he has limited edition prints, and you can control all of that. I did this when I had my art gallery in place. I didn't kind of taking it offline now, but you can say, look, there's only 5 of these available. You can choose whether you want to self-fulfill it yourself. So if you want to sign it, or you can just have it go straight to the lab. So yeah, and that just sits seamlessly in the website. In our case, Squarespace, but WordPress, whatever. It'll just plug in, and it'll look like this really beautiful art gallery where you can offer frames, prints, whatever. Set your price in, let the lab do the heavy lifting, or do it yourself. Really doesn't matter, but it just looks nice, and it's so simple to do. Yeah. I'm definitely going to go back to have a look at that when I get a little bit of time.
Obviously, you're going to keep your wedding, even though you're not shooting weddings now. You'll keep your wedding galleries for a while. It's the ultimate backup in many respects as well, isn't it? But with the I know of late we've been talking about you sort of getting out and refinding some mojo for other photography stuff. Do you think you'll move to, because I know you loved, who was it that used to do the wonderful still life work? You and I both, in fact, it might even be during COVID we used to talk about this photographer.
I don't know who you're on about.
Oh, you did it was the things like vases on a plate and apples and stuff. Who was?
I'll think about it. Let me think about it during the show.
Yeah, but I was just wondering, that's the sort of stuff though, isn't it? That could really work on, but it's just not about just having social photography gigs. If you're thinking, I've done a lot of arty stuff, well, I wonder if I could sell it to an international audience, because your prints can be printed locally in the States or the UK, Europe, Australia, wherever, can't they?
Yeah, when I had my art gallery up, I did sell 3 prints. 1 went off to America, 2 went off to the UK. I don't really know why I took it down. Probably because when I was redesigning everything, it just didn't quite fit or something, and maybe I lacked confidence in whether they were good enough pictures. But yeah, I might do that again. But yes, it's a no-brainer, and it's not free, but it's part of all of the packages. So it's not a bolt-on. You don't have to pay extra for it, so it works really well.
Questions. So if you've sent them in to click@fujicast.co.uk, a few came flooding in over the last week. Don't know whether you noticed that, Kev. And obviously you're going to look after the Facebook ones. Where do you want to start? Facebook or?
Let's go to Facebook. Why not? Okay. First question in. Actually, the reason I've done this is because I have 2 answers to the same question.
Oh, right.
Darren White says, hi guys, last year I asked if there was a way to download files straight from the camera to an SSD via the USB-C cable. And I don't think we knew the answer to that. But he goes on to say the new GFX 100 can do that now. I don't know whether he means the GFX 100 or the GFX 100 RF. Not 100% sure. Question, he says. So apparently you can just plug your USB-C into that camera and copy the files to a SSD. Question, will this software filter down to the X100 series and other cameras? Will they consider it? Cheers, and thanks for the podcast. Well, I'm guessing probably not. That kind of firmware retrofitting will be difficult for them to do. However, coincidentally, I did have a conversation with somebody up in Blackpool when I was up there a couple of weeks ago on a workshop, Mark, and he said to me that on Android phones, you can actually just use a small USB hub and the SSDs work perfectly well. You just plug them in via a cable. He sent me a picture of one. It is by a company called Ugreen, Ugreen. So it's a Ugreen, it's a memory card thing. Pop it in, USB-C, boom, straight into the SSD. So I really don't know if it works. I certainly don't know whether it would work on Apple. Well, I assume it does work. Mark said it did work. So that might answer your question, Darren, indirectly via Mark.
Didn't you have a second part? Have I lost the thread of that?
No, that was it. He just said, thank you for the podcast.
Rob Moody also says, thank you for the podcast. You can check out Rob's profile on Foto, photoapp.co. Rob Moody. Are you on Photo app yet?
On what?
Photo app.
What's that? Is that the app on the phone?
Yeah.
Photos app?
No, Photo app. FOTO app.
No.
Oh, well, there we go. All the kids are with a Z.
God, then I'm definitely not.
Or Instagram, Rob Moody. Anyway, he says, I love the podcast as well. It helps me get through the onerous task of ironing 5 work shirts for the upcoming week every Sunday with ease. So we are every other week, of course, so he's obviously a terrifically slow ironer.
Do you iron your shirts?
I can.
Okay, let me ask that question again. Does anybody in your house iron shirts?
They do.
I mean, we never iron anything.
Really?
Make us bad. Yeah, no, never. Literally never.
I wouldn't. I have to say, Kev, I'm of the, well, just hang it. It'll get straight as it hangs up.
Yeah, that's me too. But then I suppose if you're, I don't know, if I was working in an office job 9 to 5, then I probably would do it. But I don't, so I'm just a scruffy little shit.
Kev, in our house, you're not going to believe, I'm honestly telling you this is true. The pants are even ironed.
Oh my God.
I'm not talking about the American pants. I'm talking about the British version of pants. I know this because my job is to hang stuff on the line. So, yeah.
Well, this conversation's taken an unexpected twist, hasn't it?
Shall I get back to Rob Moody's mail? Good afternoon, gentlemen, he says. As a former owner of a Fujifilm X Pro 2 and now a slowly dying X Pro 3, I find myself in a dilemma. In the absence of any info to the contrary, unless, Kev, you have something different to share about the much anticipated X Pro 4, do you?
No.
I find myself getting sidetracked down numerous rabbit holes, emerging head spinning and no closer to an answer in my search for a replacement for my soon-to-be retired X Pro 3. I wonder what he's done to it, Kev, for it not to lie. I mean, you throw your camera at walls, not quite literally, but...
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a little bit strange. My slowly dying X Pro 3, like cameras either break or they work. There's not really an in-between, is there?
Are you sure, Rob, you're not sort of in some way talking to your partner through this, saying that the camera is slowly dying, so darling, I might need a new one? I wonder if that's what's going on here.
Yeah, could be that.
I shoot exclusively in street photography, almost always in fully manual mode, occasionally resorting to autofocus with 35mm and 56mm lenses. With a budget of up to 1,500 quid for a used replacement, would you advise on a suitable replacement model for the Fujifilm X Pro 3 that as closely as possible meets its requirements, allowing me to use my existing lenses while maintaining balance with 56mm lens if you were in the same position? Well, I mean, in that you've got a 56 and a 35, you're not needing a lens, so you've got a reasonable budget, 1,500 quid for a used replacement.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably look out for another X Pro 3 if it's completely broke, but if it's not and he wants to keep that, then maybe an XE4 would be a choice. The balance with the 56mm is a little bit off. Other option, of course, is X100, maybe an X100F or an X100V, secondhand with the teleconverter, the physical teleconverter, not the built-in teleconverter.
I've found an X Pro 3 here. 6 available, 1,379 is the most expensive, and I think that one will be in cosmetic condition like new.
Boring.
What do you want? There's one down here that's just good, but it's probably still too good. Can I find one that's got a scratch on it? No, there's no scratches on this, Kev.
Boo.
Boo.
Unloved cameras they were.
Or just well looked after, Kev. You don't, but I still keep coming back to my friend Giles, who wraps his cameras in chamois leather, Kev. They are as good as the day they were made by Leica.
Well, in fairness, he is using £8,000 cameras. So it's probably a slightly different mindset involved there, which I don't blame him.
So what would you do then? Would you avoid?
Well, I want to get to the bottom of what slowly dying X Pro 3 means.
Yeah, maybe.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Is the screen dying? Maybe the screen's flickering or something. You can still get X Pro 3s repaired, so it might be worth just spending your shillings on that. Fujifilm UK recently have changed from this model of fixed price repairs, they will quote on repairs now. Somewhat contentious. Some people are like, "What?" Because I think it used to be. I don't know what it was actually. I've never sent anything in for repair, so I don't know. But let's just say it was £125 fixed fee repair. I don't know if that's right or not. So you could send it in, and if it needed £800 worth of repairing, you'd pay £125. But also, if it just needed a new eye cup, you'd pay £125. So now it's done on quote basis. So they will receive the camera, and then they will say, you only need an eye cup. It's going to cost you 25 quid. Yeah. Or you need a new top plate and all of the electronics replaced. It's going to cost you £800. Yeah. So there's winners and losers in that model. Yes. But maybe do that. Maybe send it off to Fuji and say, tell me what's wrong with this. Can you fix it? What's the cost? That'd be probably the best thing to do.
Yeah. And let us know, Rob, what's going on with the camera there. What's the most expensive camera you have then, Kev? I know you've bought all your cameras. For all those people that say, "Oh, it's right for Kev," when you were an ambassador, you got everything for free. It didn't work out like that.
No, it didn't. I mean, I in the very, very early days, I did get a couple of things when I went to Japan, XM1. For example. I think probably the most expensive one I bought was the X100S. No,
Not the GFX.
Yeah, GFX 50R. When that first came out was really expensive. Oh no, I didn't have that. A GFX 50S. I can't remember now, but I've had the GFX 50S and I now have the GFX 100S. Both of them are bought at launch. So they were reasonably expensive. One of them, I definitely remember one of them being near 10 grand.
What? That's more than the 8 grand that we were talking about for, and it's 5 grand cameras, jars with chamois leather. Please tell me you are not throwing those cameras into your bag with. I've
sold it, I think, if it was the 50S that I'm talking about. It's gone. But yeah, that doesn't mean that the bucket loads of old film cameras I've got stuffed away in a cupboard here are not worth more than that. Yeah. I just haven't got a clue.
No, you've probably got something. There was who was it that recently bid on one of the Hasselblads that was used to photograph on the moon? That was worth a fair few pounds, as you could probably imagine, Kev.
Yeah, well, I think anything with a unique story behind it always adds value, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, that's why when Giles got rid of his camera bag that he'd lugged through various combat zones, he was about to throw it out, and I said, I'll have it. It's a camera bag with a story, and I've got it now.
Good.
Right, go on, your turn. Facebook.
John Davey. This is from 13 weeks ago, by the way. I thought it's only fair that I dig into
yeah.
Hi guys, love the podcast and look forward to every new episode. I am looking at Fujifilm for my travel camera needs. I like the small compactness of the system for travel. I own the X70, the X100, and the XE1 with a 16 to 80 f4 lens. I'm considering the XE5 when, if released. Okay, so that doesn't exist yet. I just watched Kevin's review of the XM5 on YouTube, and I'm now wondering if this little guy would cover my travel needs. Also, I'm not thrilled with the 16 to 80's autofocus on the XE1. Should I just bite the bullet and get the 16 to 55 2.8, or is there a third-party lens that covers travel well? For me, that is a full frame equivalence to 24 to 105. The 16 to 55 falls a little short, but I could make it work with a larger sensor and a little cropping. I really only want to carry one lens. Right. Well, if you really only want one lens, then yeah, 16 to 55 2.8 is your sweet spot. Yeah. There is the longer Fujifilm ones, but third-party ones, not sure. I don't think Viltrox do zooms. They might. But the XM5, the XM5 is a phenomenal little camera if you can get your hands on one. It's tiny, so if you've got big hands, you might struggle. And also with a heavy lens on it, the balance isn't great. But actually, I think it's a magnificent camera, and it's flying off the shelves. The shelves that are a little bit like the Co-op in our country at the moment, which has nothing on them because they've been cyber attacked.
Oh yeah.
I just went to get my packet of grass and some fish, and they didn't have any grass left.
What do you mean grass?
I get a little bag of grass.
Do you mean what? Salad?
Well, it's salad, but really it's grass. Okay. a little tin of either tuna or kippers or something. So I got my kippers, but they didn't have any grass left.
Do you like avocado? Do you like avocado?
No, good Lord. Ugh. I like boiled eggs.
Well, I was just about to give you a bit of a menu for avocado, but since you don't like it, it's pointless.
Gemma likes avocado.
Does she?
I don't like it. The kids like avocado. I don't like it.
Yeah, they do it best in places like Australia, where they use it practically like butter. It's so good. That's probably not helping you. Then should we move on? I don't want you being ill.
Yeah, XM5. Anyway, XM5 really is a great thing. You know, if you're ever, any of you who are asking these questions, obviously we don't know where you are in most cases, but John's got a lovely sunny backdrop on his profile picture, so I'm guessing it's not miserable London. However, if you are in miserable London, you can always, all of you can go to Fujifilm House of Photography and get your hands on any of the stuff to test and try. And I think pretty much any of the cameras, they will, you know, if you give them your passport or whatever, they'll let you use it for a couple of hours or something. But yes, XM5 is great. It's small, but it's a very, very capable camera.
Yeah, the passport thing works well. I always give them yours.
Yeah. I've got to change mine soon, and I'm going to be sad because I'm going to have a British one instead of a European one.
Hang on a minute. I better send it back to you then.
Yeah, you better had,
Right, Alex Hackney. Hello, my friends. Hope you're doing well. Quick question. I was recently asked if I would mind recording my brother-in-law's wedding ceremony. I explained to them that I don't really shoot any video, and there's a lot to it for it to be good. You're right there. They said they would, just like a record really, and their backup was a cousin shooting it on an iPhone, and insisted that I try, and if it doesn't work out, no worries, it'll be fine. I said, okay, I'll do my best, and that's where this question comes in. What tips do you have for filming the ceremony? I will be using an X-T4, and I'm planning on renting, with Kev's passport, the 16-55 2.8. It's an outdoor afternoon wedding, so shouldn't run into any problems with low light. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. Thanks in advance. From Alex. Well, the 16-55 is probably a good lens, really, for this, because you certainly don't want to, unless you want to be personing the camera, you know, you're behind it and looking through the viewfinder or on the back screen to make sure that you're always in focus and that somebody hasn't walked out of frame, etc. Then 16-55, nice wide shot, and let the thing run. Probably
10-24.
10-24, yeah, equally as probably even better, Kev. Although I suppose if you don't know how far back you're going to be, 16-55, either or would do well. X-T4. Can't remember using the X-T4 for videoing. I did have an X-T4 for a little while, but I use as your favourite camera, XH2S.
Yeah. Well, the X-T4 was the first one that was really kind of film-driven, focused, wasn't it? And they kind of started back up with the X-T5.
From memory, it doesn't have a limit on the amount of time it can record, does it, the X-T4?
I think it did, but the XH2 doesn't.
No, it doesn't. XH2S. So that might be the only thing that you'll need to be there to recycle it. And of course, if it gets really hot, I don't know where your ceremony is going to be. That could be a tricky thing sometimes with videoing. Oh no, it's an outdoor. Yes, outdoor afternoon wedding. Read the script. So it could get hot, couldn't it, Kev? It won't run into problems with low light, no, but it could get hot.
Could get hot, yes. Yeah, that's worth considering.
Hopefully, it won't rain, Alex.
You can tell I don't do much of this. I do all my recording for YouTube and basically everything on the XS20. I think that's a fantastic little filming camera. It's got a little flip around screen so you can look at yourself as well. That's great. That's a budget option.
Well, if you've got the X-T4 though, might as well use it and just rent the 16-55. I think you'll be absolutely fine. Keep an eye on it. Make sure it doesn't stop after however many minutes, and Bob's your uncle. The other thing, of course, is sound. I know that your brother-in-law has said, don't worry, it doesn't have to be brilliant, just has to, it's like a record. But if you can record sound, get a microphone near them, as close to them as you possibly can. Otherwise, they're going to sound like they're in a cave or something like that, even though they're outside. And there's nothing worse than looking at a video and thinking, what are they actually saying?
Yeah.
But good luck, Alex. Let us know how you got on. Right. Now I think, actually, Kev, at roughly about half an hour through. Are we at half an hour through yet? Near on, we should have, it's not a bookity book, it's a zinity zine. You got a zine.
I have. We were talking about Adam Ramjean a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, and I bumped into him at the photography show, and he has now sent us Carnival. Guess what it's about?
Could it possibly be about a carnival?
Yeah, which one?
Notting Hill?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got 2 lovely little postcards here. One for you, one for me, presumably. I'll just put all those in my everything for me pile. And lovely little A5 booklet, all vertical, really colourful, but some of the images spread across multiple pages. But, I've seen lots of pictures of the Notting Hill Carnival over the years, and there doesn't seem to be a middle ground. They're either boring or brilliant. I don't know what it is about that carnival. Maybe it's the amount of people or whatever. I really don't know. But Adam's definitely gone into the brilliant element. He's getting nice and close to some of these characters. And of course, there's a lot of characters at the Notting Hill Carnival. I'm looking at a page somewhere in the middle now of a whole lot of police that are looking a little bit ominous because they play their part as well. But, he's not afraid, Adam, to get up close and personal with people. I do not know what lenses he's shooting this on. I get the impression, looking at the depth of field, he's not standing far away and using like a 50mm lens. He's actually using 23, 35 and getting up close into people's faces. Beautiful pictures. There's a lovely one. There's no page number, sadly, so about 3/4 of the way through. Really amazing picture of couples sat on their balcony with their dog.
Yeah.
It's not on the balcony, sorry, on their window. Just got the window open, sat there. There's a young lad in the bottom left-hand corner. There's a big, beautiful lady with dreadlocks and stuff taking up the main part of the frame, slightly out of focus because she's right in the frame. And then behind her on the right-hand side is somebody blowing up a balloon. Compositionally brilliant. This is the kind of thing I would love to be doing, actually, maybe next year.
Well, there we go, Kev. We found your mojo. Your mojo is at the Notting Hill Carnival.
It's next. It's in, when is it? Just happened, hasn't it? Early May bank holiday, is it? I don't know. Anyway, it's, I'll read the little blurb out from Adam. He says, I have been attending Notting Hill Carnival since around 2010. The guarantee of great music, food, rum, and sometimes sun keeps me returning to the fabled streets I first heard of in Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Remember that?
God, yeah. We were, funny enough, just talking about that movie the other day. That's a real childhood memory.
Yeah, after a 2-year hiatus due to the pandemic, 2022 saw the return of Notting Hill Carnival. This zine contains 30 images taken during the 3 years since. I hope you enjoy, and you can, Adam, I follow on Adam on Instagram, and I suggest everybody who is into street photography should also. He is at Check My Bad Self, CheckMyBadself. Or you can go to adamramjean.com, ADAMRAMJEAN.com. Jean as in jeans that you wear.
Sounded like an episode of Sesame Street. I've got a few facts about the Notting Hill Carnival what I looked up. I didn't realise this. It's the largest street festival in Europe. It's second only globally to Rio's Carnival. That's massive, Kev. Hang
on. If it's the second biggest one in Europe...
No. It's the largest in Europe, second only globally to Rio's Carnival. Sorry, okay. Yeah. But I mean it started in 1959 as a community response to something very serious, racist attacks, and the Notting Hill race riots of 1958. So it started as this small indoor Caribbean celebration, and it was organised by this Trinidadian lady called Claudia Jones. And now, I mean, she's the mother of the carnival. It's huge now. It's huge. 30,000 corn on the cobs, river of rum punch, 5 tons of jerk chicken. And that's just what Kev eats.
Yeah. I wouldn't be eating the food. I'd just be swimming in the river of rum.
I don't really like rum, but I suppose when in Rome and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Now, this would be a good time to mention, I'm sure you were going to remember anyway, that this would be the kind of work to put on what, Kev?
Yeah, perfect for Adam. If you want to get more faces on this and potentially make some more money out of it. I don't actually know whether... I'm sure you can buy this. What's the point in producing it otherwise? But you could get an art gallery from Pictime on your website, and then you could sell prints and frames and albums and books.
Make money.
So you could do a limited edition book, like a proper leather-bound book, Digital Lab would print it in the UK. It looked really nice.
Are you changing your mind about zines as well, by the way? It sounds like you're quite enamoured by the zine.
No, I love them. I actually love these, the format of them. I just hate the word zine.
Oh, do you? All right.
It's just the words I don't like. I like them. I just don't like the word.
Does it sort of fit into the same realm as avocado?
Yes,
right.
It's exactly the same as avocado.
Okay.
I like the sound of avocado. I like the texture. I like holding one in my hands before it gets all green and gooey. But actually, the avocado itself is grim.
Did I feel the same way about my name, Neale? It always sounds a bit like yogurt. Neale. It's like, I've never really loved my name.
Well, why did you pick it? Because it's not even your name.
I know. I picked it because it was my middle name, and I had to switch around my first and middle name. And I just panicked when I was asked to do that as a stage name, and I've been stuck with it ever since. It's a weird, people going, what? Anyway, talking to Grandad, since you mentioned I was Grandad, I don't think you've seen, because at the moment we're not looking at each other across the cameras, but my beard, I've got a fair amount of beard growth, Kev.
Oh no, I saw it. I saw it when we did the Pictime.
You did, didn't
Wednesday
you?
night.
Well, you were very polite. You were very polite then because you didn't mention anything, or you didn't care. One of the two.
Well, not to you. I did to Gemma.
Did you? What did you say to Gemma?
I said, do you remember Papa Smurf?
You did not. I bet you did, actually. Our friend Anna sent me a message that said, is that thing going to be a feature? A permanent feature? What? I quite like it, Kev. Can't grow any on my head. I'm going to stick it all down on my chin.
Yeah, well, I shaved, actually. When it gets to summer, I tend to go clean shaven, but yeah, there's very much an imbalance going on, both of us.
This one is from UC Jaskalainen.
Not the footballer, surely.
Yeah, the footballer. In fact, should we check? Because I've got the website here. Hold on a minute. Who did Jaskalainen used to play for? We've had this conversation before, haven't we?
Yes, and I think if you look at the last sentence in the email.
Oh yeah, I'm still not the footballer. He's got a great website though. Look at this, Kev. That's presence.
Yeah.
Jaskalainen.com. Oh, what a great website. Anyway, hi. I've got Alan and Nivek.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the other way around. Sorry. Yeah.
Bolton Wanderers, apparently, he played most of his football for.
Oh, right.
474 times he played for Bolton.
Well, that's what you call a permanent fixture, just like a beard.
And then he went to West Ham.
Oh, right.
Before Rice.
A long-time listener, yada, yada, yada. See, nobody says that anymore, so you have to be a long-time listener to actually use that in your email now, don't you?
Yeah.
Gents, I'd like you to share a little secret with me. Are you ready, Kev?
Mm-hmm.
What's the most underrated Fujifilm camera on the used market? A body that's relatively unknown and could be found for a really good price. I have this feeling he's looking for something that's cheap as chips. Doesn't matter if it's a GFX or an X or even an older system. Please remember to answer in hushed tones so that others won't hear, since if this secret gets out, the prices are going to skyrocket. P.S. Yes, I'm still not the footballer. I didn't read that, but I'd read the
You wish he was the footballer.
Yeah, it would be good, wouldn't it? I wonder whether... See, this might be me just being a bit romantic about it. What about an X Pro 1, Kev? Because now we've got a 2 and a 3 and everybody's getting excited about a possible 4 one day.
Wasn't the question the most underrated on the...
But that's what I'm thinking. It might be the most underrated Fuji camera on the used market.
Yeah,
because
I thought it was on about pricing.
No, I'm going with that because the other day I got given my original Canon 5D back to me. The one I used right at the start of my wedding career first time the 5D was out anyway, because I started with Nikon. And I loved that for this beautiful creamy tones that it had, that it rendered as JPEGs. And I've always thought of the X Pro 1 as that, but not many people seem to share my enthusiasm in that respect. So I'm wondering if it's just sort of missed the radar and is a bit underrated.
Well, I suppose technically every camera is on the used market, isn't it? Because you can even already get GFX 100 RFs secondhand. So they're all available somewhere. Now, interestingly, and I didn't think about this when I saw the email come through, I've just put a blog post on my website, which is the entire history of the Fujifilm X and GFX. I've been writing this for months and months and months and months. But one of the things I did was put a table of all of the models and when they were released and the sensor and the type of camera they are.
Cool. Very clever stuff, Kev.
Starts with the Finepix X100, which was March 2011, 12 megapixel sensor, and ends currently the GFX 100 RF, April 2025. And there's well over 50 cameras in there. So, yeah, I mean,
do you know what?
The X Pro 1. Yeah.
Kev, if you would have asked me to think of a number, I probably would have said about 25 to 30. 50. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Actually, I can tell you because I've got my little spreadsheet. Hang on. Hold on to your little ironed cotton socks.
They're blowing in the wind. I can see them here. Just a little gentle breeze and they're nicely drying, Kev.
55.
55. Wow.
And that's only if I've got them all. I missed one off. I forgot to put the XM5 in when I first started, and also XF1. I think I forgot, and then some people mentioned those. Well, not the XM5. I remember that myself. The XF1. Yeah. So,
are you including those small waterproofy things?
No, only things that are classed as X series or GFX.
Right.
So here's a little quiz for you. Right, what came first? I've just told you the answer to that.
Well, the X100. What it was called Finepix, wasn't it?
Yeah. What came second?
Ooh. So I don't know the smaller model. I only really know the Ts and the X100s.
Well, the next one was the X10.
Right. Okay. I wouldn't have known
7 months after.
Would not know.
So in terms of the X Pros and XEs and all that, X Pro 1 came in March 2012. XE1 came September 2012. XT1 didn't come until, this is assuming I got my research right, which I think I have, January 2014.
So when did you decide to swap everything out of Canon to Fuji to shoot with professionally? It must have been before that.
When the X Pro 1 came. So
X Pro 1, yeah.
Yeah, X Pro 1 was March 2012.
Yeah.
But there's some great things in there that I hadn't, things that I'd completely forgotten about, but I'd had XF10, XQ2, X70s in there, obviously, things like the XT200, some random stuff. Anyway, if you're interested, have a read through the article because it's a long and in-depth, but I think it's a little bit kind of...
you clearly have a lot of time on your hands, Kev.
It was fun putting that together, though, I have to say.
Was, yeah.
Got to say, and it did remind me, and the other thing that I had to do was find images that I'd shot with all the ones that I had.
Oh my word!
Which was, so when I got to the XH2, all the pictures are rubbish.
Oh, Kev. And I thought we'd ended so well. I was about to say today's episode has felt a little bit like counselling. We started off really quite grumpy, and we've ended up on a really good note, talking about your life's work.
I think you're right though about the X Pro 1, probably the most underrated. Yeah, because it is still a fantastic camera. Yeah. Very slow.
It is, but I love it. I love it.
And I'm just thinking maybe...
I remember leaving my X Pro 1 a long time ago. Not long after it came out, probably. We went to... it was in the snow, and we went along to a railway station just along the way here because the Flying Scotsman, the steam train, was coming through. And Jack at the time, he wouldn't accept it. He'd say, no, it wouldn't have been me, but it was. He wanted to see it go through. And so we all went off in the cold to go with about another 200 people to watch the Flying Scotsman go through the station. And I put my X Pro 1 on a tripod, got a load of pictures, and then went to have I had another camera with me as well, I think. I went to have a cup of coffee, got back in the car, drove home. Then it was only about an hour later, I thought, where's the X Pro 1? I'd left it on the station on a tripod. So I toddled back, slipping and sliding through the snow, because it was really heavy, to go get my X Pro 1 thing, and it's never going to be there, it's never going to be there, and it was stood there at the end, nobody else on the platform, everybody had gone home, including the fireman who turned up in a fire engine to put water into the tank, and it was still there, Kev, covered in snow, wet through, and I thought, well, I've got the camera, but it won't work. Next day, turned it on, no probs.
Yeah, good.
Hey?
Good.
So,
yeah.
And it's still here, just behind me now. Anyway, do you feel better now, Kev? Have you? Is this? Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, not a lot. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to totally cue you, but it felt like as the show went along, Kev came alive. Right, that's it for another couple of weeks. We're going to have to get our socks, our freshly ironed socks, pulled up at some stage, Kev, and record a load for when you're away.
We don't even have internet there now.
Do you not? So you're not even going to be. I won't even be able to contact you.
No, I mean you will, because actually it's only me and I'll be going.
Oh, is Gemma not going?
They're coming for a bit.
Oh, okay. It's just you and Alps. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, can I pop out then?
Yeah, more than welcome.
Come and visit the Scorpions. Right, that's it for another couple of weeks. Get your questions in to click@fujicast.co.uk, or if you want to send them in via Facebook, Kev, how does that happen?
Go to Facebook and search for Fujicast, join the group, and right at the top of our lovely group is a thread that says questions for the show. And I've noticed a few people answering those questions.
That's not allowed. No.
And you can answer any other questions, but not the ones in the questions for the show thread. Questions for the show. That's what it says. Right. Questions for the show, not questions for you. Questions for the show.
Okay, I thought you'd disappeared then in a puff of anger. Right, that's it for another couple of weeks. See you soon, Kev. Bye.
The Fujicast is an independent loading zone production. Email the show with your questions and words of wisdom to click@fujicast.co.uk. Email any complaints and political nonsense to our wives, who will deal with your comments in their own good time and in their own good way.